StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is we are in the finale, part 3 of our 3-part mini series, the ways that you can better do your homework. Before we get into this, I'll remind you of 2 things. First of all, my daily motivation and Monday motivation text messages that are guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day or your week. Make sure you text me at my number 305-384-6894. So when we restart sending those messages, you'll be getting them straight to your phone. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is a place where I do all my coaching. If you would like to have me as your direct coach, you'd like to be able to ask me questions, share with me your challenges, get direct insights from me on what you are doing well, what you can do better, what to change, why to change it, how to change it, and when and where to change it. I will help you with all of those things. I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have the insight, and I have the ability to explain it. All of that is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Go to the link down in the description of this episode for that site, or just type it in workonyourgameuniversity.com. With that out the way, let's pick up where we left off. We are picking up on point number 7 here. We did the first 6 points in the previous 2 episodes, and we're picking up on point number 7 of things you can do to better do your homework. Number 7, get the resources to get the resources. Get the resources to get the resources. Let me explain what I mean. Now, this touches a little bit on one of the earlier points that we talked about. See, when I talk to entrepreneurs, there are usually 3 common things that entrepreneurs feel are their issue. If you're an entrepreneur listening to this, whether you are a full-time business owner, you have a full-fledged business, you have a side hustle you're working right now, or you have something that you're trying to get off the ground, it's not quite off the ground yet, still on the ground, and you're trying to work on it, any one of you, regardless of where your business stands, because I've worked with entrepreneurs who are in the millions of dollars, those who are in the hundreds of thousands, those who are in the tens of thousands, and those who haven't gotten their first 1,000 yet. I've worked with all of you. There are 3 common issues most entrepreneurs have. Can I tell you what they are? Great. One of them is a lack of information. So they just don't know the right information to solve problem A, B, C, D, E. Don't have information. Another one is a lack of resources. I have the information, I know what needs to happen, but I simply do not have the resources to do it. So the resource could be people, the resource could be money, the resource could be something tangible, some type of tool, the resource could be some form of access, the resource could be some type of software. It's either information or resource. That usually makes up about 98% of entrepreneurs who I talk to. 98% of entrepreneurs, if you ask them what is the main thing in your way right now, they will give you an answer that is either some form of information, i.e., I don't know, or I don't know how, or resources, i.e., I don't have, or I don't have access to. 98% of entrepreneurs, that's their challenge. The other 2% of entrepreneurs who I talk to, when I ask them what their challenge is, they will say they have tried all the things that they can do, but they still need help from something or someone outside of themselves. In other words, they have exhausted all the options that they know of or that they feel they are capable of, and now they're looking for some help that is outside of themselves because they have done as much as they feel like they can or they should by themselves, and now it's time to go external to get help. Now, again, this is only 2% of entrepreneurs come up with this answer. Now, those in the 98%, those who say I need information or I need resources, they can be brought around to the 2% mindset, but you have to kind of bring them there. You have to help them see that they're in the 2% level. Otherwise, they will keep thinking that they're at the 98% level. Most entrepreneurs I talk to, you can deal with an entrepreneur for a long time and they will still be in this 98% mindset that is information or resource. That's the only thing in their way, when that's actually not the issue most of the time. So it's very rare you get this 2% person. I mean, that's why I call them a 2% person. It usually goes in this order, what I just said. I don't have the information. Okay, I got the information. I don't have the resources. Okay, I got the information and the resources. I need some help. I need some help outside of myself. All right, first people say they need information. Then they say they don't have the resources. Then they finally admit that maybe they need access to something that's outside of themselves. Maybe they admit that. And even when I talk to an entrepreneur, they finally get around to admitting that maybe it's a person in the mirror problem, and we need to get the person in the mirror off the job and get somebody else on the job, or at least with them, if not completely replacing them. They usually don't stay in that mindset for long because people default back into their old habits of, oh well, I just need information or I just need resources. And usually, again, that's not the case. This is the reason why many people do not achieve the successes they want, because they have come to the wrong conclusions based on the wrong questions. That's why. So if you're at this second step, and this is what I'm talking about here. This is point number 7. Get the resources to get resources. If you're at this second step and you feel like a lack of resources is the only thing in your way, okay, let me address you, because there are a lot of you who are in this group right here. If you're in the 2% and you're already at step 3, which is I just need some help that's outside of myself, you should be going to workonyourgameuniversity.com on your web browser right now. You should have already gotten there and already been scheduling your time to get on the call with us if you're already at step 3. But if you're at step 2, I want you to understand that your lack of resources is not a white flag that you can wave and simply abdicate your responsibility for creating success. In other words, if you feel like I need this tool, this software, this access to be successful, but I don't have it and I don't have the resources to get to it, that does not mean it's okay for you to fail in your business. It does not mean it's okay for you to continue doing nothing in your business. It is not okay. Let me tell you what it is okay for you to do, though. It is okay for you to accept the responsibility that is your job to go get the resources that will allow you to get the resources in order to do what you need to do for yourself and your business. Let me say that sentence again, just in case y'all didn't catch it. It is your job to go get the resources that will position you to get the resources that will allow you to do the job that you need to do. So, for example, let's say you're believing something like, what's something that people really believe they need to get some outside help with? All right, let's say you have a graphic design job that you need done. Maybe it's a web page you need put together, or a landing page, or some logos, or some type of design. And you have gone on canva.com and you tried to make your own designs, and you showed it to me. And I told you what I tell at 99% of entrepreneurs who show me a design that they made on their own. I say, what the hell is that? Are you a graphic designer? No, you are not. Okay, turn off Canva and don't ever turn that shit on again, because you are a terrible graphic designer and you are fired from that job. You are permanently banned. That's what I tell entrepreneurs. I told more than one entrepreneur this. Get the hell off of Canva and stop graphic designing, because you suck. So now you understand that you have to hire someone other than yourself to do your graphic design. Problem is, you don't have the money to hire a person to do your graphic design. That does not mean it is okay for either A, you to do it yourself. You already banned from doing that. I already told you that. And it's not okay, B, to not get it done because you don't have the money to hire somebody. So you may be wondering, well, Dre, what the hell am I supposed to do since I can't do it myself and I don't have the money to hire somebody? Your job then is to go get the money so you can hire somebody. That is your responsibility. That's your big domino. Your big dominoes will be go get the damn money and stop making excuses. And damn sure do not do it yourself, because you're terrible. I've seen too many crimes against graphic design committed by entrepreneurs. All right, no more. No more. Okay, I will start a crusade. All right, entrepreneurs are not allowed to graphic design. Okay, it's your responsibility, unless your entrepreneurship is actual graphic design. Other than that, no. So it's your responsibility to go get the resources. This is literally your job. It's not acceptable for you to say, I don't have the resources, and because of that, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing, which is struggling, failing, and not producing. That's not okay. That's not okay. So what do you think we're doing here? Point number 8. Today's topic, once again, is we are on part 3 of our 3-part mini-series, the ways that you can better do your homework. Number 8, mental rehearsal and visualization. The mindset work. I mean, what I just talked about, point number 7, is mindset as well. Actually, everything I'm talking about here is mindset, but this one is more what's the word? More direct, let's say, for lack of a better term, mindset, where this is just 100% mindset. These other things, people may think of them as action based, but they're really mindset based, because if you don't get the right mindset, you're not going to take the action. So number 8, mental rehearsal and visualization. There was a study done many years ago with 2 groups of basketball players. And the way that the study was done, long story short, they split the group in half. And one group of players, because they were going to test how they could help players get better at shooting free throws by using visualization techniques. So here's what they did. One group they were given access to a basketball court, and they just practiced shooting free throws every day for a period of time. Let's just say that it was a week. And this group just practice shooting free throws, practice shooting free throws. So they get better at free throws, right? That's how you get better, right? Practice working on your game. The other group was not allowed access to a basketball court. They didn't touch a basketball for the entire period, same time period. Let's just say that was a week. Didn't touch a basketball at all. But here's what they did do. They spent their time, instead of practicing on the court, they spent their time doing visualization and mental rehearsal techniques of shooting a basketball and doing it well, of successfully shooting and making a basketball from the free throw shot. They just practiced it mentally. They were not able to physically touch the ball. They did not go on the court. They did no practice physically. All of their practice was mental visualization and rehearsal. So one group actually practiced shooting basketballs. The other group just visualized shooting the ball and doing it successfully. Now, here's what happened when they brought the groups together at the end of the experiment period and they had all of them shoot free throws. The group that had done the mental rehearsal and the visualization versus the group that had done the practice, the group that had done the tangible practice did improve. They worked on their game and they improved, which is what is supposed to happen, right? That you work on your game and you practice shooting free throws, you will improve shooting free throws. That group did improve at the end of the time period of the experiment. Now, here's what happened with the other group. The group that did the visualization and the mental rehearsal but didn't touch a ball, they improved more than the group that had practiced. The group that had physically practiced. They improved more than the physical practice group, the mental practice group did. How is that possible? The reason it's possible is because we have to remember that the human brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you can take the time to mentally visualize yourself doing something successfully, it has just as much, if not more, effect on you as you actually doing the thing successfully, because your human brain does not know whether you are visualizing or if you are really experiencing the thing. Now, the key to this is you must immerse yourself in the mental experience. You must immerse yourself in the mental rehearsals. You can't just tell yourself I'm thinking it, but you know you're faking it. I talk about this often when we talk about confidence. All right, there's no such thing as faking it till you make it, because if you tell yourself that you're faking it, well, then you also know that at some point you must stop faking and go back to reality. If you tell yourself you're faking, then that's not mental rehearsal. That's not visualization. That's not what I'm talking about. This has to be you immersing yourself mentally. I told you in the episode on the subconscious mind, there are 3 ways to affect the subconscious mind: repetition, emotionalization, and immersion. Immersion is when you immerse yourself in an energy or a feeling or a visualization to the point that your subconscious mind won't even know that you are only visualizing it. It will feel as if you're really living it. It's really happening. Because again, the subconscious mind only goes off of what pictures the brain is giving it. And the pictures the brain gives to the subconscious mind can be something that it is actually seeing through your eyes or something that you're seeing through your mind's eye, through your mental eye. Either way, the subconscious mind picks it up. So it's a matter of what are you experiencing mentally, and is the subconscious mind getting it? Again, repetition, what are you experiencing all the time mentally? Emotionalization, what are you emotionally connected to mentally? Doesn't matter what it is. And immersion, what are you immersing yourself in energy wise? You can do all that from laying in your bed at home. You can do that sitting on the couch. You don't have to go anywhere, talk to anyone, experience anything. You can give your subconscious mind a ton of experiences. So it's just a matter of what are you experiencing? And here's the thing, folks. You're experiencing things every day, all day. It's just a matter of what is it? Do you have control over it, or is it controlling you? Are you experiencing things that you want your future to look like? Or are you experiencing things that you don't want your future to look like? I understand you are doing something every day. It's just a matter of, do you have control over the process or do you not? But it's always happening. So the challenge is, again, this mental practicing, you can't allow negative energies to jump into the picture of what you're doing. That's the biggest challenge most human beings have, is that they allow the negative energy to come in and interrupt the mental rehearsal. This is why the basketball players who just visualize making shots, they got better at making shots. They didn't visualize missing, they visualized making. And that's the reason why they got better. Moving on to point number, so let me do a little bit more on point number 8. Your mental rehearsal is something that you can be doing every single day, by the way. And I have a book called The Mental Workbook where I detail and explain how this process works. Is that every day you need to be, and in the book I detail how this is. Every day you need to have practices that you do to actually start training your subconscious mind. And if you do the practices every day, well, what is that a form of? That's a form of repetition. And in the way that you practice, if there are things that are emotionally connecting for you, then you also get the emotionalization. And depending on how and when you do it, it also gives you the immersion. And guess what? In the book, I explain all of these things. So when you go to thirddaybook.com and get your free copy of the third day, we're going to take you through our sales funnel. And on the third page of that funnel, we're going to offer you a bundle of books that includes the mental workbook. Say yes on that page, and you will have the book. And it'll tell you exactly how to do that. Point Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, we're on part 3 of our 3-part mini series, Better Ways to Do Your Homework. Number 9, anticipation of needs. One definition you will hear of a professional or of an expert is as a person who has seen and done everything that could possibly happen in a particular space. So a fishing expert is a person who has seen and done everything that can possibly happen in a fishing situation. Basketball expert has seen everything that could possibly happen on a basketball court. So an expert is a person who's just seen it and done it all. If you are this person, then you have the ability to anticipate what somebody else or something else will need, want, think, say, or do because you have literally seen everything. You can basically anticipate what's going to happen before it happens. If you watch combat sports, for example, a really good, really experienced fighter, it's almost as if they are reading the minds of their opponents and they know what their opponent's going to do before their opponent does it. You watch a boxer like Floyd Mayweather's a guy. I watched a lot of his fights multiple times. And Floyd is, of course, he has physical gifts. He's extremely quick and his reaction times are very fast. But at the same time, because he has so much experience, he can see what his opponent's going to try to do before his opponent does it. So when his opponent is considering throwing a right hand punch, Floyd can counter the punch and hit them before the opponent's punch even gets to Floyd. So he's hitting them with a counter that actually hits first. So it is kind of counterintuitive, pardon the pun, because he's hitting them before they hit him, even though he's the one reacting to their action. It's just because he's faster than them, but it's because also he's seeing the game in a way that they don't see it. This happens in every sport. This happens in business as well. When you can anticipate what your opponent's going to do or what your opponent will need, you can think ahead of them. And this preparation, again, is a way of just showing respect to them, and it's also a way of giving them. You can even call it hospitality. So I was talking about, I was looking back at this article that I written about the Ritz Carlton. There's a Ritz Carlton down in Key Biscayne. My wife and I were talking about it yesterday because she had a friend who was in town, and she was saying that friend was at that Ritz, and maybe we'll go to it. And I was like, yeah, I remember we went there, and I remember I wrote an article about it. And this was maybe 6 years ago. I wrote this article actually, and the article was all about how I went to this Ritz, and we went to they had food there and like a place where you can order food, like a burger bar, whatever they called it. And I remember writing an article just about the hospitality experience at the Ritz was amazing. It was top notch. So on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 11, meaning you weren't allowed to open a door for yourself at the Ritz. If you were about to open a door for yourself, somebody would sprint in front of you, like a worker, and open the door for you so you didn't have to open the door. Every single employee you walked past made sure they made eye contact with you, smiled at you, and said welcome or have a happy Sunday or whatever it is that they said. Even when we went to the restaurant, the waitress was a phenomenal waitress. The ketchup was homemade. It wasn't just those little packets of ketchup you get when you get a hot dog or some shit. This was homemade ketchup. And you could tell that it wasn't normal ketchup. And the whole experience was like $100 for a burger. It was one drink, the valet, and it was like two burgers, one drink, the valet. You go to some local neighborhood restaurant that might run you 40, $50. This whole thing was like $100, and it was well worth it. It was worth more than what I actually had paid because the experience was incredible. Again, all the valet people, the hotel, like the bellmen and those people inside the hotel, and then the people at the restaurant, which is at the back bar out in the back of the hotel near the water. It was just top notch from every single thing that you went through. The whole point is that is a form of hospitality when people have anticipated your needs and they have it. And here's another piece that goes with what we've been talking about in this series. They have made this into a system. Ritz Carlton made this into a system. They had a system of hospitality. This wasn't just random things that people were just deciding to do on the spot. That was something that they were required to do. It was a requirement that you never let a guest in the hotel, open a door for themselves. You make sure that every guest that you serve in the restaurant, you are giving them a top-notch experience. When somebody brings their counter valet, you're doing the same thing. This is all part of their system. I don't think they just looked at me or looked at us when we came there that day and decided to give us just this randomly. Let's just pick them. Let's give them a great experience. They did this with every single person who came into the hotel. And all of this is part of what I'm saying here in point number 9 is anticipation of needs. Anticipation of needs is felt as hospitality. Any of you's ever been to a 5-star hotel or a 5-star restaurant, you know the experience that I'm describing here because this is exactly what they do. The reason that they're 5-star is because of what I just said. So they have seen everything. They know exactly what their guests are going to expect, and they are prepared for your expectations before you're prepared for your expectations. They have an innate ability to know what's going to happen before it happens, and they are ready for it. Again, this is the reason why they're 5-star, is because of the experience that you get, hospitality that you get, and that you are more than happy to pay for it because of the experience. It's worth it. All right, it's worth the extra money. So they're always a step or two ahead of the competition. And the competition is not even trying to catch up because the competition doesn't want to do the work. All right, this is the whole point. Everybody catching what I'm saying here. And I hope you all are really catching this, because in your line of work, you can apply these same things to your business. You don't have to be a hotel or some luxury getaway to do this. You can do this as a financial advisor. You can do this as an accountant. You can do this as a personal trainer. You can do this as an Instagrammer. You can do this as these things. You just have to think ahead of what your people need and give it to them. So again, you need to be this yourself, and also for yourself with what you do, because this is aided by your depth of knowledge in yourself and the depth of knowledge in your line of work. So again, it applies in personal, it applies in business. That said, let's recap today's class, which is again part 3 of our 3-part mini series here, how you can better do your homework. Number 7, getting the resources to get the resources. All right, this is your job as one of the big dominoes. So don't think that just because you lack resources that it's okay for you to continue failing and coming up short. Focus on getting the resources so you don't have that problem anymore. Number 8, mental rehearsal and visualization. All right, basketball players who practice mentally making shots versus the players who practice physically shooting shots. The ones who practice mentally got more improvement than the ones who practice physically. Why is this? Because the subconscious mind does not know the difference. That doesn't mean don't practice physically, but the subconscious mind does not know the difference, and that is an immersion. When you immerse your subconscious mind, it picks up on what you give it. And number 9, anticipation of needs. When you see what's coming before it happens, you can respond before the thing that you're responding to even happens. You see it before it occurs. This is what great hospitality companies do. This is what great luxury experiences look, feel, sound, and smell like. This is what a great professional in their work is. They know what's going to happen before it even happens. They can even tell you it's going to happen, then it happens exactly like they told you it would. And you are more than willing to pay for these experiences because you like the fact that someone is taking care of you to a point that you don't have to think about anything because you got a professional on your team. They'll take care of everything. They've already anticipated it. This is what leaders and organizations do as well. All that said, make sure you text me so you're in my text community. Numbers down below in the description. Also, workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you want to have me as your direct coach, work with me directly, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you can have me as your coach. We are looking for top 2% performers, people who want to do what I just described there in that last point. I'm looking for people like that. If that's you. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all